Hello, namaste everyone. Welcome to this session of Coffee and Convo. In this session, we have Gargaya. He happens to be my junior in college. Such a multifaceted personality that I can just go on listing his talents. He's a chess buff, he's a theater artist, he's a flute player. He's so well versed in Veda chanting, he's good at Stotram explanation. I mean, it's a good amalgamation of many rare skills and the modern skills too. So I think he's a good academician too. So let's instead of just me telling about him, I think he can introduce himself better to us. Before that, I would like to introduce my co-host, who is Yash for today. I'm Sai Kumar. I have Yash, and our guest is Gargaya. Let's the talk begin.
Coffee and Convo, where the conversations get alive.
Hello everyone. This is Gargya, RRS. I'd like to keep my name that way. Because it's just my name is not just introduction; it's an explanation. So I'll keep it to Gargya RRS. Let me not go it further. I am from Hyderabad, but most of my life I grew up in this place called Sultanabad, which is quite far away. But half my life I spent there, and then I've joined hostels. I'm just that guy. It's not like happy-go-lucky, but just go happy. Whether you get lucky or not. I just give 100% in whatever you trying to. If I like something, then I'll go towards it. Give my 100%. If it's good for me, yes. And yeah, pretty much that sums me up.
Dude, I've recently been following your posts on Instagram. You've been trying to pursue career in stand-up comedy. So why did that interest you suddenly? Because there have been lots of shades in your humor. Generally people have different goals to orient their humor. So some try to drive the darkest facts of the society. Some try to just make uh, make fun of simple things. Some things like body shaming, or some things like religious stuff or anything like that. But what's your take on humor? How is it important in today's society or today's family?
Uh, that's nice. That's good question. I would say everywhere, if there is a part of humor in whatever you do, there is a smile on your face always. Because say, despite you tell the joke out or no, that smile on your face just helps you, just to move on, and it leaves others puzzled whatever they think. The main thing about humor is, see, there are many kinds of humor. Mainly, everything is going to be observational. That comedy is called observational comedy because we observe something and we make. So the my take on humor is it is such a nice device which will make you smile, at the same time get something in it. Say I always is because I try to cater to all kinds of all genres of comedy. Say it can be a topical one, be it on a certain topic, or it can be an anecdotal, like say a certain part of life, or it can be merely observational. Just say I saw something. Hey, why do we do only this? Why not some other way? So this is pretty much any comedy, and any comedy just fits in there. All this dark humor at the end of the day is an observation. So how I approach to comedy and how it helps me in every day is, there is this beautiful quote. I don't know who said it, but it goes something like, in any situation, if you can find what's funny in it, you'll be always be happy. You will always be happy. So at any point in time, I'll have like say I'll be smiling about something or the other because my mind keeps like, dude, like see how this situation is, see how is it going. Like say the other day I was in an open mic, my first ever open mic of my life, and then I prepared one nice solid set about say how let's leave that aside. Like say it's about how Indian people deal old things and all, but that's a nice set. But what happens is mine is the ninth position on the list of 10. So already I've seen enough many people perform, and I'm already uh, nervous to perform my set. I know, see, I'm going to be thorough. I'm going to be just straight in my English, so I know I'm not going to bluff it. But at the same point, I had some this thing that many people are Hindi background, if they're going to get or no. Can I be able to switch over to Hindi my entire set? So I was in that nervousness, and suddenly what happens is my mic was on, because like how brother is responding it, so that I get a feel that okay, people are listening. Say people who get laugh, they laugh. People who clap, they just clap. But there was so much background noise, so the host muted me. And in the message he tells me, जब आपकी बारी आएगा मेरे को मैसेज कर लेना. And my chat is disabled. It can't get more worse. So
Okay.
I started off my first joke as, my life is such a funny thing that लोग मुझे मैसेज करने बोल देते हैं और मुझे ब्लॉक भी कर देते हैं. You getting it? So once I started this, and there is so much background noise in my life that people often think that is performance, and I'm just laughing at their jokes. When I get into something like this, in that way I appeal to the host that, bro, what you're doing is you're just contradicting yourself. Just through funny thing, I just told him, though, bro, you're not doing it right. At the same time, I made people happy. It's just you can hit someone with something, but that is covered with something good. People will take it nicely. That's my take on humor. And one more thing is, as I said, if I liked something, and CSK bro would have seen that I was never known to be a funny guy. Like entire my career, I was just known. Okay, I talk much, but I am not that guy who is so much funny. But once I started watching stand-up comedy, something in it attracted. At the end, I want to say that if you're a writer, I'm also I write. So comedy is the highest form of writing. It's very tough to write, and that attracted me. So though I'm not a funny guy, I just push my limit into it. Let's see, if it's working, it's working. If it's not working, I'm happy at least that I am pursuing it. So that's how humor sets in my life, and it sets my perspective. That's it.
So that's actually very much interesting. Well, I had a very curious doubt from many of the days, like, how do people make others laugh? Like, it's very tough job to make people laugh, I guess, because when I personally try, I am the only one who is laughing right now. So, like this,
that happens. Like when I got started with comedy, not that now people are laughing at my jokes, but I'm just saying, most of my jokes, I end up laughing to give others cue. Bro, it's a joke, you have to laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a cue for others to take over.
Yes.
No, it's like that background music which plays in between the comedy skits, that
most of Jabardast jokes are like that.
Yeah,
Jabardast jokes are like that. You see there is this guy called Hyper Adi, right? So you see he'll be looking at judges and be like, once he laughs, even judges understand, oh, we have to laugh here. It's a punch.
Yeah, it's a punch.
That's into the art. And the best part about comedy is, bro, I'm telling you, anytime if you are performing to someone, you just have to make them think that, bro, I'm a stupid. They'll automatically laugh.
Okay. So, well, I will consider that next time. Well,
no, bro. Yeah. Okay.
Dude, there are intelligent comedians too.
Yeah, bro. But anytime, it's in India at least, if you crack a joke on yourself, people are going to laugh at you. If you're cracking joke on someone else, Munawar Farooqi will happen.
Offended.
Yeah, easy to get offended. That's the easiest thing, not to get offended. It's how best you can take a joke.
Yeah,
That is important.
that's important.
Because at the end, joke is a perspective,
Yeah.
bro. No one is going to take it seriously and put
Yeah.
it in life, put it in constitution. No, it's just a perspective. If people would keep it there,
Constitution itself. No. So, Gargaya, the one thing that I've noticed with this generation is that we are too fast in approaching anything. At the same time, we don't give enough time to thinking the essence of it. So there are lots of things that our generation has missed out. Thinking deep about stuff. There's this thing which is getting understanding or wrongly understood also, that is religion. Not many are quite not many are understanding the true essence of religion. And there have been lots of memes basically, again, about this Uttar Pradesh cow or sheep, and other things which Yogi Adityanath is pointing out. There are, it has become a point of humor too. I don't know how many are actually getting the essence of them. Not being on the pro side or not being on the con side of it, but I just want to know your views on religion, and how should you actually inculcate the essence of religious practices, or many other philosophies regarding the religion at very engaged to kids.
I got that. So, bro, one statement if I would like to make. Since I told that comedy is a perspective, a humor or anything is a perspective. So a perspective can be built only with awareness. So when someone is commenting about something, they should be known of the facts. They should be knowing about the intricacies, or if not the intricacies, the basic understanding. Now, at this juncture, when you're speaking about religion, see, with our permission, or our exact consent, we are born into a certain religion, right? So it's not that my advice to parents, but it's more like I feel it's a duty to parents that uh, from a very young age, the children should be knowing about the religious stuff. Why? Because at the end, religion boils down to a school of thought, a school of values for which a certain personality stands for. Now, in this regard, say in any religion they have some sacred text which exactly spells out what to be done. So probably say hymns or something in our Hindu text. So I come from a Brahmin community. So the aspect of doing puja every day is a lot at my home. It's extended. It's not everyone does puja at home, but it's extended at my home. It's probably we chant mantras loud. My dad has that habit. He chants at my young age. I used to think, why is my dad doing this way? Why is he shouting the mantras? Why should everyone else get disturbed? But at the end, this is our house. If we can't do puja safely at our house, like, there's no point, right? But I used to think as a child, like, man, why is he doing? Is it just show off? But over a period of time, I understood it's that thing which my dad did. That chanting loud, me involuntarily just hearing it helped me learn at a later point in time when I really wanted to learn Veda. The aspect of listening is so good, so important that, say, if you keep listening to something over and over and over and over again, probably you just get it by heart without your actual knowledge, right? No one actually came to us and taught our mother tongue. We just heard it so many times, we just started speaking. Our first words we would have spoken like that. So that point I would like to say, everyone must know what their religion is before they start to comment about that. I agree. One thing I agree that, you know, anything taken to the extremes of its belief would lead to, you know, multiple opinions, contradictions, fun on it. It's like if I say I do puja, that's okay. If I say I do puja every day, I'll put now, I'll do everything, I'll go. I do outside and I don't want to see others who didn't even have bath. I'll wash my. See, if I take it to that extreme, probably people will lose that respect because
Yes.
respect also comes with a price, right? Respect comes with mutual sharing of value. It's mutual, right? Respect. It's not like you know, you respect me every time and I just disobey you. It just leads to something very empty. You won't feel like reciprocating the respect. So in that context, everyone should know, like say there, you know, when they tell, what, yeah, this today, this year's, you know, calendar is not planned well. Vinayak Chauthi is falling on, you know, Sunday. So we are not getting holiday some other day. It's just a Sunday. You know, it's very often that we hear, you know, people say that. While it's very stylish to say that, you should know what Vinayak Chauthi is, how that calendar is working. It's just the basic, right? At the end, the English calendar, you're learning. It's like someone at any point in time told you January, February. I remember making mistakes after January, May. It's so common. Many times I also you know, told, even now when people ask me how many days are there in February, I'll confirm like, January, February. We are learning something. So why don't we learn something which we are already born into? Because since our everyday things are so much dominated by, you know, our non-religion things, not from our religion. Say it's from the West, right? Say the calendar that we follow, or they say the work culture that we follow. It's more of the Western influence. In these point in times, it becomes more relevant, more important that a kid right from a very young age should know about his religion, or else there are chances that he will be just falling into this flow of his everyday work, his everyday acquiring of skills for his job, that he will at one point in time not know his religion. He would just stand as what he is. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not saying it from a perspective of only Hindu. I'm saying it from a perspective of any person who is religious. And people who argue saying, you know, it's not our religion, we just stand for values. Yes, man, at the end, from a spiritual standpoint, though this sound very hi-fi, religion is a school of values, a school of
Yes,
practices.
absolutely.
So, so at the end, like Swami said, it's if you're a Hindu, you should learn and be the best Hindu. While you should be secular, because see, it's not like knowing religion. See, since I gave the background that from a village, I am from a Brahmin background. My dad's thickest friend, one of the best friends who used to dine with us in the night, was a Muslim, and I used to address him as Mama. So while we are secular, we should also know about the religion. My point is that if you're a Hindu, be the best Hindu. While being knowledgeable about every other, you should be the best Hindu. Because no religion, see, all these contradictory thoughts are provoked. They are not in the texts. If you're a Muslim, be the best Muslim. While you're being secular, know your religion better, so that you will stand for something. Like Martin Luther King said, if you're not standing for something, you will fall for everything.
Exactly.
So if you're not standing for this school of thought which you're already born into, you will be at a dilemma, dude. That's what my fact is. Right from a young age, I was told that, you know, we celebrate this festival thanks to the institutions that I've studied. I was told the significance of that, why we celebrate that, the story behind it, the myths. They give a lot of information, lot of code of conduct to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my take on religious awareness at a younger age, which is important. That's what, so the entire block chat will be like awareness leads to perspective, and extreme practice will lead to contradictory opinions. So, awareness from the young age will build the right perspective, character, and thoughts. That's it.
I like this flow chart. Like it would be very much easy to comprehend things, na? At last.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Gargia, for that.
Okay, I'm a big fan of Trivikram movies. Okay, because most of his dialogues are deep, his philosophy is deep. He's a deep thinker, so that's naturally one thing that I like of Trivikram. I've gotten many friends just by discussing scripts of his movies. You know, like movies like Jalsa. So that way, there is one movie of his, recent one, Son of Satyamurthy. So it's such a basic plot, the whole paradigm shift in the hero's character comes because his father is keeping his financial debts secret to the son. So that's a basic plot he tries to get. There is another concept of values too, but generally the whole movie runs on the simple thread of financial transparency to the children. Allu Arjun lives a lavish life before that, and suddenly when he gets to know things break down, and he has to, most of the time goes in describing that itself. So, how important do you think financial transparency is in a family? Should son tell everything to his child about how much debts he has or how much he owns about his or about his investments or anything like that?
Definitely. So, say at a very young age, a certain guy is told that don't go there, there is a devil over there. We won't go, right? Because we get scared. Same comes with financial transparency. If you project yourself in the, the parent projects the financial matters of the family in the right way to the kid would grow up to be very understanding of the situations. That is important. Because see, I know it's a tendency of parent to be protective, not to let children know of the financial matters, so that they'll be like, "Arey, Pillod, like at least let him enjoy." But that is not healthy, right? At the end, if you go for just satisfying what a kid wants, you're not building the future, isn't it? Because things are getting off in the present. At the same time, it should not be like you scare your child by saying, "Hey, we don't have money." It's decent. I know at a very young age, like me as a child, I literally fell into dilemma because my my parents told me what exactly the situation. Like say after we bought a home, and this is a typical middle class thing for everyone, that there is certain EMI which the breadwinner of the family we pay every month, because apparently every house is bought on a loan. Correct. But at the same time, how much disposable income the family has at hand must be a thing which the child should know. It's because a child would need anything, like I wanted many toys in my childhood, but at the same time, since I was abreast of what's happening in families financial matters, I can think initial times I'll feel like, oh God, why didn't you make me just rich, I could buy all this. But at the same time, it develops as if simply put, maturity just boils down to understanding and doing the right thing. And right things can be many. It's just maturity stops when you understand it. If you don't act, according to what you understood, it would be foolishness. The right word I don't have in English, but it's not in Telugu we call it murkhudu. Even in Sanskrit it's called murkha. Because Murkha is someone who knows of the fact and he does nothing about it. You can't, just make anything of those people. We would have heard that poem, probably just remembered it. Cheri Murkula Manasu Ranjim Paradu is one. line which all of us would have said at one point in time. So that's mere bad thing. He's just a guy with understanding and who doesn't want to do the right thing. But something like financial transparency at the young age will give you the understanding.
Well, Gargia, yeah, I have a point on this. Like, so where does that maturity, that responsibility come to a child? Like, he can't learn on his own because while being a young, it takes experiences to learn by himself, right?
It's just
So,
trial and
like,
error.
yeah. So how will it's the major responsibility of the parents, I guess. So they need to be like take him into that direction. They need him to shape him like to shape him into a better person by their expressions, by their thoughts, I guess,
Correct.
right?
I just have yeah, bro.
I have a point here. Okay, so recently I was reading a little bit about Brahmanandam, how important finance played in his family. So they were born in a pretty poor family, deep penury. So what his father did, once his father took him to his owner, who were hired him. So it was, I think, for a festival, and they wanted money. So this Brahmanandam's father, he went to his landlord or whomever. He just asked for money. You know, the way he behaved in front of the owner. You know, with his hands held like this, and then going with the deep face, going with that. You know, what do you call? You're stretching your arms in front of somebody, and they're asking for money. Also, seeing the situation, no, it moved Brahmanandam a lot. You know, after that, he just thought this is not going to happen again. So that at a very young age, you know, at a very young age, children are brilliant. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
True. That's what
We are dumb.
Yash
We
bro.
are dumb. Our curve, our learning curve actually, you know, is very bad compared to them.
Yeah, if I have to, you know, Yash bro, if I have to reply to what you said, the stuff is everyone take it for granted. Everyone has a learning only after they've been hit.
Yes.
So despite me knowing that you know my condition is like this, I still want something. Oh, I would have cried, mom, I want that. But that's when you know parents get you by going into some trouble, like how bro told say they wanted money. He went to the lows to you know get the money. When you see these kind of things, that's what has the impact. Everyone learns through what do you call? Everyone learns through experiences, bro. No one you know stays best at any point in time because the definition of best in itself will change over period of time.
Yeah, that's
Why
exactly the point.
everyone will tell. That's why everyone will tell, bro, make the best while you are at place. I didn't do this, but at the same time, this student when he becomes alumnus is going to tell the same thing. Bro, we were told to make the best of it, and we didn't make the best of certain thing. Why? Because the standard of best will differ from person to person. Will differ for that same person given to different period of time. It's just how you lived your present. That's it. That's how will shape your understanding, and that's how that understanding itself is maturity, bro. If at the end you understood what a certain thing has to be done in a certain situation, maturity stops there.
Truly, I agree with this completely.
You know, talking this much about maturity, you know, you know, there are still foolish things going on in societies, right? You know, we don't even give the deserved respect to our parents. You know, things have changed a lot in this generation. But what is that? You know, a good way of behaving with parents?
That's awesome because that's something which everyone has to just reflect upon. I feel that's because at the end, every child should respect their parents for whatever they've done because they are the foundations on which we you know just we took off. But at the same time, there should be a line which we should draw. What by line? What do I mean? Is it like, bro, parents? This is my line. Don't come any closer into my life. No, that's not the line I'm talking about. Because there is nothing that you're hiding with the parents. Okay. Um, it's just because parents and children is such a beautiful ecosystem, that's that small ecosystem. Because, see, if I am not putting out my thoughts to someone, I'm just making myself a dustbin. They are those years which we go to, and we respect their decisions because they helped us build, they helped us grow up. But what I feel is, if we think that our parents are, say, behaving certain way which we don't like, now few people have the argument that who are you to tell that you don't like something with your parents, because they are the ones who gave you the very foundation. That's great. I love my parents. I respect my parents for that. But as we grow up, there is something called our character which grows up. There is something called our self-esteem which grows up. There is something called ego that grows up. Now, ego is such a bad thing that is perceived by everyone. But ego is the self. Ego is like me. I stand for something. That ego simply stands for I. Though we have the wrong connotation for ego, being selfish or just me centric, self-centric. But ego has a major role to play in our decision making. Because if you're not telling that I want to do this, I want people to behave this way because I am standing for this, that I aspect of it, if that is not strong, then we won't be standing for anything, isn't it?
Hmm.
I'm saying this is a point in time where I feel we get most angry most angry with our parents.
Hmm.
It is very important that we measure our words, because than any point in time in our life, more than any point in time, this is the time where our parents start to value each and every word we say. And they are going to build upon how we speak. It's easy. That slip of tongue is very easy, I'm telling you. That slip of tongue is very easy. But if you practice that measuring of words, it just sets you like, see, today I told you're disgusting to my parents. I should have time to tell myself that, stupid, you shouldn't have spoken like this.
Hmm.
This is something which would have hurt your parents. This is where you should leave that goddamn ego which you developed for yourself and go tell your parents sorry. I'm also that kind of guy whom I address emotions. I feel awkward when that love expression is happening in family. Mom coming food hands, and I'm like, why is this getting awkward? I'll
No,
start
especially
telling
with
people.
dads. I think that expressing love to dad is way much tougher.
Yeah, there is this beautiful comedian. There is this comedian called Zakir Khan. He puts it awesome, because
Yeah.
gents are those guys who are very bad at expressing their feelings. A father and a son, two men, just like they're just two chimpanzees sitting. They don't know how to address each other. But that's the beauty. That's the beauty. When one leaves the that awkwardness and speaks, no, that's where it blooms. Even dad is that awesome chimpanzee we should have at home. We have at home. He's just roaming like one rock. You can just make the best of him. Because from our dads only we learn all our naughty things. There is this beautiful song of Ed Sheeran called "Put It All on Me." Put it all on me. The lyrics, just goes by saying, "I want to be strong, and I need someone to lean on.
Hmm.
I want to be strong, but I got demons. So can I lean on you?" Because at the end, every man or everyone needs a strong heart and a soft touch.
Yeah.
At the end, that is the basic necessity in any sort of love. And it is very important, before a man falls or whatever, all the other love that, what I'm referring to. Parental love is what the universe for him, and that is what on which he should build upon. So he should be leaning onto them. He should be ready to say, yeah, you put all your worries on me. I'm there to listen. I'm a shoulder for you. In return, for doing that deep a favor, parents already out of their love have their shoulders for us to just lean on. That's it. That's how I think respecting parents, loving parents should go about.
Mm.
That's it. That's my perspective. That's my understanding, rather.
Lovely, dude. I'm deeply touched, Had lots of blockages in this matter too. Yeah, many of them got
Yeah, many
got
aspects got
sorted.
covered.
That's nice.
If a man or a woman, if a person is not ready to stand in a conversation which questions his basics, his very roots, he is a very weak person. He or she is a very weak person. If his roots are questioned, and he is able to stand up to his roots, at the same time question his roots, why am I following this? He or she will become a very strong person, because they'll know what they're standing for, they'll know why they're standing for it, and the how will just be built on it.
Really makes
Exactly,
sense.
man.
So yeah, Gargya, that's how we wrap up the questions part. And now it's the fun part, not like philosophical part we had earlier. Now this is somewhat fun. So yeah, so this is what we call as Kurkur Convo, where we have a random questions of a series of questions and spicy. So of course, yeah. So I would be going with a random rapid fire questions. So yeah, what annoys you the most? Yeah.
When someone doesn't use their common sense, it annoys me worse. Like people in an empty room, they'll comment and, oh, no one is there. Obviously, you can see with your eyes.
That was good. Your favorite joke?
My favorite joke. Fine, this joke I just wrote. I said the other day I was walking on footpath and someone came and almost killed me, because in India leftists are not so much encouraged.
Okay, I get it. So yeah, day scholar or a hostel life? Which would you choose?
Hostel life. Hostel.
Okay. So next question: starters or desserts?
Dessert and starters.
Starters. Okay.
Because they're spicy. We don't.
Yeah, spicy like our Kurkur Convo.
Yes.
Okay. Sun or moon?
Sun.
Being rich or being famous?
Famous.
Okay. So that was the part. So yeah, Sai, you can take up the next element that we added. Yeah, Gargya. So this part is, I will explain you firstly. This part is where we will give you a word, and the first thing that comes in your mind when you hear that word, you have to say that word. That
Common
thing, anything. Yeah.
Yes. Sure.
Comedy.
Veer Das.
Oh, movie.
Alavaikuntapuram.
Hyderabad.
My home.
Elon Musk.
Not interested.
Clock.
Shit, I'm late.
Food.
Can I get more?
Okay. Sleep.
I don't know how much is enough.
So Gargya, we have special space where you can share a word or a message to your friends, your close, someone whom you feel close, and we would be posting that as our story reels. So yeah, any message to any special friend? Mention.
No, I feel, see, everyone who comes to me is like a friend. So just want to give one advice that understanding is one thing which is lacking, tough to get, but easy to develop. I think once you understand someone, something, or once you start understanding, you'll get a good view of your life. You'll live it better.
Okay. So yeah, Gargya, that was very much awesome speaking to you, sharing your thoughts, talking about religion, talking about parents, talking about behavior, talking about everything all around. We got everything covered, I guess. So well, how was your experience with Coffee and Convo? Like, how did you feel after having this much?
Great idea. Some place where your thoughts can just flow, and you have people to listen, and it's not just a monologue. You have other perspectives coming, the right questions coming. It's just you guys created a good environment for me to put out my thought in a structured manner. That's awesome, because it's rare that we have conversations about deep topics, but deep topics are something everyone has an opinion on. This is a great platform. You guys are killing it. That's great. That's great. People can open up.
Thank you so much, Gargya, for that. And that's how we wrap up. It's was a great convo with you, and I hope to see you again on this Coffee and Convo. We would be very happy to have you again and share some more thoughts with our audience and our listeners. So yeah, thank you everyone, and we will be meeting you the next Friday. Till then, keep listening to Coffee and Convo. Have a great day, have a great life, and be happy, be safe. That's it. Thank you.